we're here to just learn from your experience. And I think learning to lose is a message that goes far beyond the sobriety side of things. It's just learning from your failures. And anybody that I know that's successful in any field has failed usually more times than they've won to a certain degree. It's just
what do you mean to a certain degree? Yeah. There's no certain degree. You have to start at the bottom and you see this thing up here and it's like you're not going to be there for a lot. I mean, like, it took you so long.
Well, for me personally, I was born in a housing project. I had 8 brothers and sisters. My dad was a janitor. I've had brothers who were homeless. I remember being in a black and white probably 25 years ago and turning a corner down near Venice Beach, and my brother was in a sleeping bag in the alley. And I remember the fear and the emotion that overwhelmed me at the time based on my brother's condition in life.
Do I know that brother?
No, I have 8 brothers and sisters, Pat. This is one of my older brothers. I've had another brother who's been in and out of jail. He's sober now, but he's been the consequences he has paid for his alcoholism is cost him his life today.
Literally or figuratively?
No, he's figuratively. He
Right.
struggled his whole life with alcoholism. I have parents who both passed away with significant illness of intoxication of alcohol. My parents were raised deeply Catholic. My dad was a janitor at the local Catholic school. I went to school there for free. So I was not one to have had privilege or to have had a silver spoon. It was a life of failure as a child, and knowing as a child I didn't want to live my adult life that way, certainly, and taking advantage of government services. I stood in cheese lines as a kid to get that block of Velveeta cheese so my mom could make sandwiches for us. Anytime the government had a give out during the holidays, we would try to be a part of that. I took advantage of student loans in school. I took advantage of my dad's ability because he was the janitor to get a free Catholic education. So there were some advantages that I took advantage of, or opportunities, I should say, that led, and sports was my big alternative. When my brothers struggled with alcoholism, incarceration, and sports was my alternative. It was baseball that led me to kind of stay even keeled and to keep one foot in front of the other and to keep me in school, which eventually led to an education and led to employment.
So you played baseball?
Yeah, I was a baseball pitcher.
And you got like a scholarship or?
Well, not
you just
necessarily.
were on the team. Yeah.
I played since I was a kid. I was on a bunch of all-star teams, and I ended up playing into college. But it led to being on a sports team is so important, as you guys know, because there's a sense of responsibility. There's a sense of working with others. You have to figure things out. The difficulties of, hey, why you and not me, or what are you about, and then try to play together as you do here at Graceland Ranch as a team,
or in a band.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, I think for us, like, we were on the sports teams, but I don't know about. Did you really want to be on the team?
Not really. But like
me and Tim were like, let's start a band, and then we started the band. But the band thing is like almost. It's the same kind of thing where you have to like be accountable and like you have to go to band practice, and you don't really have like a coach. I think it's a little bit more difficult in some ways, but we were creatives, so I don't think that. Like, my dad just kind of forced me to do that, which is interesting because I feel like I probably would have never ended up gravitating towards that. So when Billy comes, he's gonna be. You might as well just. Can you?
Do we need a third
move that over?
Fourth person.
Just start talking on that.
How's this?
Yeah, just in case we don't need anything. Yeah. I'm just having an open heart and an open mind.
Right. So there's got to have been some benefit, though, Pat, from that time you and your brother played ball. Your dad was a coach. You had a lot of interaction with family. You had other kids in the team who were either good kids or goofballs or kids you disassociated with. But there's got to be something that led you to Tim, or did you guys sit there in the outfield and just laugh like this is ridiculous?
I don't think we thought it was ridiculous. I mean, that's where you meet. It's just where you meet a lot of people in the early days, of course, on sports teams.
I never wanted to play base.
Baseball started getting scary. To be quite honest, baseball when it hit like middle school, that was like a weird pocket where the pitchers got super fast but didn't have any control. So there was a weird zone where like probably by the time you get to high school, at least they have some control. And I started like literally getting kind of just scared of the ball. You just get hit all the time.
Yeah.
And it was like not enjoyable. And I used to like kind of crush it. And then my later years of baseball, I was just like, praying to walk usually.
I'm actually realizing right now why I didn't like sports. I'm having kind of an epiphany right now. I need more control. I don't want to be one of 9. I want to be like one of 4.
So why not like tennis for you or something?
I probably would have, or golf. That probably would have been more my speed, because for me, waiting around on a field and then getting a chance to hit 4 times a game, maybe. How many times does a guy actually even get a chance to hit?
Probably 3 times. 3 times.
3 times in hours. Like, that's not enough play. That's not enough action for me. I need more action.
Yeah.
And I think that's what was the problem.
That's definitely specific to baseball.
With baseball was there was just too much waiting and not enough action, and I didn't have enough. I need more. I don't know.
Stimulation.
Well, Cory, what did you want at that point? You're playing sports and everything. What did you think you wanted to do? Be pro athlete, or were you? I mean, was your head starting to get into career?
So a significant moment in my life was when I was playing high school baseball. I went to Venice High School. Was when Ronald Reagan was shot. I significantly recall the assassination attempt, and I was fascinated by the Secret Service, and I thought the ability to wear a suit, to have a pistol, and to travel the country in some type of protective detail was something I would aspire to.
Right.
So as I went to Sacramento State to continue my education, I was mentored by a Secret Service agent, and that was my plan. And then upon graduating from college, he's like, hey, go back to Los Angeles and work for the LAPD for a few years, get some police experience, and then we'll recruit you and bring you on. So I did that for 2 or 3 years, and he called me, and I'm like, you know what? I'm having such a great time down here. I started to do some TV commercials, and I got involved in some other things, and I was having such a great time. And then I had learned from some folks who were in the Secret Service that it wasn't all what it was cracked up to be, that only very few worked on presidential security details, that most people worked on counterfeit and treasury issues, because they're part of the Treasury Department. So I ended up spending 35 years in the LAPD.
Right.
Can you believe that we're talking to someone on this podcast that spent 35 years in the LAPD? This has been a family friend of mine for a long time, but I'm just really excited to have you on the Learning to Lose podcast. And we have Tim here too. I'm actually I can't wait to send this to my dad.
Awesome.
Because this is such a cool little...
I've known both you guys for 25 years.
I know. I remember you from such early days.
Two of the most colorful guys to the audience out there that I've ever met. And even though I was a coach, and you may not think you're good baseball players, you brought more color and joy and character to that baseball team.
Wow.
And those are the memories you walk away with. You don't traditionally walk away with... Those are the experiences, the memories that matter to me as I got older. Not that 9 kids would go in the same direction. We had some very competitive teams because Pat's dad was the coach. But you guys were just so colorful and so different, and I love that.
And it's not like you can really remember like winning or losing at this point.
Actually, my dad was undefeated. He won.
Yeah, he won a lot.
That was the crazy part about. That's the one thing I do remember is like, and I followed in his footsteps as far as being a controversial figure. I mean, you can't not end up like what you saw. You just copy what is. I mean, he may have been trying to teach me one thing, but all I saw was someone obsessed with winning and willing to do whatever it takes to win. And he got kicked out, evicted. And I'm trying to take the good and leave the bad, or I don't know if you want to call it bad, but I'm trying to lead with love and humility. And he is super humble, but at the same time, I think that if winning means everything, you're almost worshiping the winning thing. I want to worship the process.
You're also setting yourself up for sadness because you're not, no matter how hard you try, you're not winning all the time.
So when he heard the whole learning to lose thing, him and Martha's first reaction to that, they were like confused. They were like, losing, like... But after starting to understand what it really means, it's actually kind of like a design for like thinking a little bit differently so that when the losses come, you can just immediately recover from them and learn from them.
It's a process redesigned to get back on your feet and to move forward.
Yeah. I
love that.